Today, I'm going to walk you all through the right way to put your vehicle inside of your LLC. And I'm going to show you the two methods on how to properly deduct your vehicle expenses in your business in 2026. Now, here's the unfortunate reality. Every single year, business owners are triggering unnecessary audits and losing on deductions, all because they did one thing wrong. And as a licensed CPA who's helped clients save millions of dollars in taxes over the years, I can tell you that the vehicle deduction is one of the most powerful tools in the tax code and one of the most unused tools. Done the right way, it can put over $15,000 directly in your pocket. Done the wrong way, it paints a target on your tax return for an IRS audit. And if you're thinking, I have an LLC, so I'm covered. Like, an LLC does not automatically guarantee you vehicle deductions. The IRS cares about the entity, they care about the documentation, and this is exactly what most people are missing. And I want you to make sure you stick around for step number 3, because that's where I'm going to break down the biggest misconception around the 6,000 pound rule. And this will help you on any car purchase this year or in years to come. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. Step number 1, how do you properly put your vehicle inside of your LLC? So let's start here, because this is where most people actually get tripped up before they get started. And so when people say, I'm going to put my vehicle in my LLC, they usually mean one of two things. Option number 1 is titling the vehicle under your business's name. This means that the LLC legally owns the vehicle. Now, here's the thing, that affects everything related to your vehicle, including insurance, liability exposure, financing options, all of it. And option number 2 is actually leaving your vehicle in your personal name, but deducting the vehicle's expenses through your LLC. And yes, this is possible. This means you're using your vehicle for business purpose and you're capturing that expense on your business tax return, regardless of who's on title. These are not the same thing. And depending on your situation is going to be depending what route you should go. And here's the truth. Most CPAs actually get this wrong. Like, small business owners don't need to transfer the title of their vehicle into their business name. What they need is proper documentation of the business use of the vehicle. And you can capture a substantial deduction without ever changing who's on the registration. In my opinion, is only very few cases where I would actually recommend a client put the vehicle inside of the LLC. I would actually recommend them keep it in a personal name and just maximize the deductions on their business tax return. So you don't have to chase transferring the title over if you're strictly looking for deductions. So before you make a move on your vehicle, like transferring the title, insurance changes, financing, have a conversation with your CPA about which approach is right for you. The goal is to maximize your deductions and minimize your audit risk. And that goal is achieved through proper documentation and proper structure, not just whose name is on the paperwork. So now that you understand the difference between titling and deducting, the next step is about the two methods available to actually capture the deduction on your tax return. And which one you're going to use depends on your vehicle and the way in which you use it. Let's talk about it. So method number 1 is the standard mileage deduction. And in 2026, the IRS rate for business miles is 70 cents per mile. So if you drove 20,000 miles this year, you would get a $14,000 deduction if those miles were business miles. This is simple, clean, super easy to track. But here's the catch. If you have a high value vehicle, the mileage method is probably leaving money on the table, because 70 cents per mile does not compare to actual expenses on an expensive vehicle. Method number 2 is the actual expense method. This is where you track the real cost of the vehicle. I'm talking gas, insurance, maintenance, interest on your car note, and you add all these deductions up and you multiply it by the business use of the vehicle. So for example, if you had $30,000 of annual vehicle expenses and you use the car 50% business use, you would get to write off $15,000 in actual deductions using the actual method for your vehicles. But here's where the actual method, in my opinion, could trump the mileage method. The actual method includes depreciation. And whether it's 179 depreciation or bonus depreciation, we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars in increased deductions because you get to write off and depreciate the actual value of the vehicle. So I want you to think about these two methods as different ways to maximize your vehicle deductions. What you need to sit with your CPA and think about is the mileage method going to maximize my deductions, or is the actual method going to maximize my deductions? And that is all based on what type of vehicle you have and how you use the vehicle. Now, the method you choose in year one matters, because if you start with actual, you cannot switch over to mileage. But if you start with mileage, you can switch over to actual in future years. So again, make sure you discuss this with your CPA before you make the decision. So now that you understand the two methods on how to properly deduct your vehicle in your business, the next step is understanding how to apply the 6,000 pound rule to enhance your vehicle's deductions. Step number 3, the 6,000 pound rule exposed. So in case you've been living under a rock, you've probably seen on social media that if your vehicle weighs over 6,000 pounds, you can write off 100% of the cost of the vehicle the same year you purchase it, which is true. If you check the gross vehicle weight rating on that vehicle and that vehicle weighs over 6,000 pounds, you could be looking at a major deduction. So for example, Cadillac Escalade, clearly over 6,000 pounds. If that vehicle costs $100,000, even if you went to Cadillac and financed the whole 100,000, you would still get a $100,000 deduction, no money out of pocket. Now, the biggest misconception about the 6,000 pound rule is people think that if the vehicle weighs less than 6,000 pounds, that they can't depreciate the vehicle. That is false. If your vehicle weighs less than 6,000 pounds, you can still take the 179 deduction, which is in 2026, you can write off a little over $20,000 in 179 deduction in year one when you acquire the vehicle. So you do not need to acquire a vehicle over 6,000 pounds to take advantage of depreciation. Now, will your depreciation be more on a 6,000 pound vehicle? Absolutely. But I don't want you buying a car that you don't want, or worse, that you can't afford, just to maximize your deductions. So whether the car weighs over 6,000 pounds or less than 6,000 pounds, you can still get a major tax deduction this year. So now that you truly understand how the 6,000 pound rule works and that you can still maximize your deductions even if the vehicle weighs less than 6,000 pounds, the next step is the one that determines whether you're going to keep your deduction or the IRS is going to take it away from you.
What's up, YouTube family? Thanks so much for watching the show. I hope you are enjoying this episode, but if you are watching this, there's actually a 70% chance that you're not subscribed to the channel. And that's okay. We appreciate you for watching and listening. However, if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscriber button, it'll let YouTube know that other people are interested in the show so that we can further spread the message of money.
And if you're ready to start learning how to build wealth and save on taxes, we highly recommend you join our Multiply Your Money Challenge. This is a 5-day virtual event where both me and George are going to be teaching you the advanced tax and investing strategies of the 1%. And we highly recommend that you grab a VIP ticket because both me and George are going to be answering your personal financial and tax questions. That link can be found in the show notes below. Can't wait to see you there.
Peace.
Which brings us to step number 4. Your deduction is only as good as your documentation. Let me break this down. You see, the IRS does not care that you have an LLC. They don't care that you bought a qualifying vehicle. They want to see 3 specific things. And if you can't produce these 3 things, they could take away your deduction. Number 1, business purpose. What is this vehicle actually being used for? Driving to client meetings, transporting equipment, traveling between job sites. It needs to be legitimate. Driving your kids to school does not count as business use for your vehicle. So you want to write down the business purpose every time you use the vehicle, or use a mileage tracking app like Mileage IQ to properly track your business miles and have proof of where you are going by tracking the trip. So number 2 is your mileage log. I don't care if you're using the mileage method or the actual method. You need to log your miles, dates, destinations, miles driven, business purpose. There are apps, again, like Mileage IQ. QuickBooks has an app as well. So there is zero excuse in 2026 that you're not doing this. And number 3, which is equally important, the business use. This is where the calculation helps you prove your deduction. If you drove 25,000 total miles this year, and 18,000 miles were business use, that means your business use is 72%. That percentage is applied to your entire deduction, and you need to be able to prove that log, not just guess it. So what does this mean? It means set up your mileage tracking today, not tomorrow. Mileage IQ, Everlance, Trip Log, pick one and turn it on automatically. Every mile you drive this year matters. And the more miles you log, the bigger the deduction you will get. So now that your documentation is locked in and your deduction is protected, the final step is a quick rundown of the mistakes that most people make that I want to make sure you don't fall victim to. Step number 5, the mistakes that kill your deduction. Let me run you through the mistakes I see consistently because I want to make sure none of these are happening to you right now. Mistake number 1, claiming 100% business use when you clearly know it's not, right? This is the fastest way to get audited and to lose your entire deduction. If you're also using your car for personal use, which most people are, and it's okay, report the actual business use and personal use. Claiming 100% business use when you only have one vehicle is the quickest way to get audited and lose your entire deduction. Mistake number 2, not having a separate business insurance policy. If the vehicle is titled under your LLC, your personal insurance no longer covers it. And if something happens, you could be facing a lawsuit, which means they will pierce the corporate veil and touch your personal assets. So please talk to your insurance agents before you make this transfer. Which brings us to mistake number 3, mixing methods on the same vehicle in the same year. As I mentioned earlier, you can start with the mileage method and switch to actual. If you start with actual, you cannot switch to mileage. So you have to pick one and stick with it year over year. And these mistakes can add up. These mistakes can end up you losing your entire deduction because you lose an audit. As I mentioned earlier, the vehicle deduction is one of the most powerful deductions in the tax code, and I don't want you losing it from one of these simple mistakes. So in summary, these are the 5 steps to properly deduct your vehicle on your tax return. So what I want you to do is go through the 5 steps and make sure you're not missing any of these key items so that you can maximize your deductions in 2026. And if you like this episode, please hit that like button, please hit that subscribe button, and please share it with somebody else that needs this. The goal of this channel is to help you all build tax-free wealth. But if you're giving all your money to the IRS, you won't have any money left over to invest. And that's our goal. And I hope this video helps. Until next time, team, peace.